Hello Internet, Parag Dhawan here. We are starting with day 5 of 30 days Kaggle ML challenge. In today's session, we will study about list and tuples. First, list. List in Python represents order sequence of values. Here we are creating a list with name prime. In opening and closing square bracket, you have element 2, 3, 5, 7. This is a list of integers. Click on the cell, run the cell. In the next cell, we are creating a list planet. In opening and closing square bracket, you have strings Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Here we have created a list of strings. We can create a list of lists. So in the next cell, we are creating list hands. Outer list contains 3 sublists. Each sublist contains 3 elements. This can be also written in a single line. Outer list, opening and closing square bracket, inside first inner sublist containing JKQ, comma 222, comma 6AK. Click on the cell and run the cell. By this we have created a 2-dimensional list. Next cell. Here we are creating a list containing different elements. First is an integer, second is a string, third is a function. So my favorite things contain integers, string and functions. Click on the cell and run the cell. We have created a list my favorite things having different types of variables. List indexing. List is a sequence data structure. Indexing of list starts from 0. If we write the name of this list in front of it in opening and closing square bracket, if we use a index 0, it will return first element of the list. For example, for list planet, we are returning the first value, which is Mercury. For list planet, we are returning the second value, which is Venus. You can access the last element of the list using reverse indexing. If you want the last element of list planet, you have to give list name in opening and closing square bracket. Give -1, it will return the last element, which is Neptune. If you want to access the second element of the list, you will write the name of the list. Inside an opening and closing square bracket, you will write -2. This will return second last element of the list. Click on the cell and run the cell. Second to last element of list planet is Uranus. List slicing. We can create a sublist of the original list using list slicing. First example, for the list planet, we want all the elements from 0th index till the second index. So inside the square bracket, you give the start index as 0 and last index as 3. It will run from 0 to 2 excluding 3. Click on the cell and run the cell. We have created a new sublist containing elements of list planet starting from index 0, 1, 2. Last index was not included. Same thing can be done. If you don't specify the first index, it will start from 0th element of the list and it will run till last index -1. Click on the cell and run the cell. This will display the same output. 0th element at list planet is Mercury. At 1 it is having Venus. At index 2 it is having Earth. When you want to traverse from index 3 till all the elements of the list are not exhausted, you can write a list name. Inside opening and closing square bracket, we are starting from index 3, colon, we are running till the last index, so last index was not specified. Click on the cell and run the cell. We will start from index 3. Elements are Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Means we run till last index of the list starting from the third index. Now, all the planet except the first and last. So, you are traversing planet list. You are starting from index 1 and you are running till the last index. So excluding the last index, so last index is represented by -1. If you access the element, want to access the last element of the list, you will write -1. But when you are using list slicing, you start from the first index and you run till last index -1. So by doing this, we will start from first element and run till second last element of the list. Click on the cell and run the cell. See, you are running from Venus and you are running till Uranus. First element and last element of the list planet was not accessed. If you want to access the last 3 planets of the list, you will start from third last position and you will run till the list exhaustion. Means if you don't specify the second index, it will run till the end of the list. So we are accessing last 3 elements by using list slicing, starting with -3 means third last element till running with the last element till the last element. Click on the cell, run the cell. You are running from third last element till the last element. This was list slicing. As list is a mutable data structure, you can change the element of the list. In this example, we will understand how you can change the index element value by a new value. To the planet list, at the third index, we are updating the value Malacandra. Click on the cell and run the cell. Now you can see Mercury, Venus, Earth, Malacandra, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Previously, value at index 3 was Mars and now it is updated as Malacandra. Moving to the next part, you are traversing from start till the second index and you are updating those values by MUR, VEE, UR. Means you are changing the first 3 elements of the list planet by MUR, VEE and UR to print the planets on the user screen. You are starting, click on the cell, press Ctrl+Shift- to split the cell. Click on the cell and run the cell. You can see list is updated: Mercury, VUR, Malacandra, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Now we are changing first 4 elements of the list using list slicing. Planets, we are starting from index 0, we are running till last index -1 is 3 and we are putting the value at index 0 Mercury, at index 1 Venus, at index 2 Earth and at index 3 Mars. Click on the cell and run the cell. This will update the value of planets. Press escape B and print planet list to see the changes. Copy this code, paste it here, run the cell by Shift Enter and you see the changes are reflected back in the list planet. Now everything in Python is an object and object has its function. Those functions can be applied to a list. So we are seeing list function. First we are applying a length inbuilt function on list. Length function gives the length of the list. So if you find out the length of planets, it will return that planet list has 8 elements. Sorted function sort the list in ascending order. So when you run sorted function on this planet, it will sort the list in alphabetical order. If you want to sort the list in reverse order, you have to pass one keyword argument, reverse is equal to true. This will sort the list in reverse alphabetical order. So you have Venus, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter and Earth. Sum function adds the element of the list. So this sum function can be applied to an integer list or a floating point list. You have a prime list which is of integer. When you apply sum function to prime list, it will add all the elements of the list and give the result on the output screen. So 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 will result in 17. Click on the cell and run the cell. You can see 5 plus 7 was 12 plus 3 15 plus 2 17. Max function returns maximum element from the list. It is a built-in function which can be applied over a list. Now, list is an object. I have used term object a lot so far. You may have even read everything in Python is object. What does that mean? In short, object carries something around with them. You access that stuff using Python dot syntax. For example, numbers in Python carry around an associated variable called as imaginary, representing the imaginary part. Let's understand this by example. You have a variable x which is storing an integer. If you print the imaginary part of integer, it will show 0 because this number didn't had any imaginary part. In the next case, we are creating a variable c which has real part as well and imaginary part as 3. As c is the object of class number, you can access the attribute imaginary to print it on the user screen. For accessing that value, you use the dot member access operator. Click on the cell and run the cell. You can see imaginary part was printed on the user screen. The things an object carry around can also include function. Dot imaginary was an attribute. You can also have functions associated with the object. A function attached to an object is called as a method. Non-functional thing attached to an object such as imaginary are called as attribute. For example, number have a method called bit length. So x is a number, and if you want to access the bit length of the number, you will write x dot bit length. It will show that it is a function of object int. Then if you actually run the function x dot bit length, it will return the bit length of a variable integer variable x. Bit length is 4. It requires 4 bits to represent 12. Example help max, we can also pass in a method. So using the help function, we will check information of the integer object bit length method. Click on the cell and run the cell. You can see it is help on built-in function bit length. Bit length method is built-in instance. Number of bits necessary to represent self in binary. So bit length method returns the number of bits which are necessary to represent the number in binary format. Now list methods. So for the list object, we are calling append method and we are adding a string Pluto at the end of the list planet. You can see the information regarding the append function. So for the planet object dot, we are calling the append function. If we require help, then we don't include opening and closing parentheses. Directly we check the information. Click on the cell and run the cell. Help on built-in function append. Append object is the signature. Append object to the end of the list. If we check planet list, you can see Pluto is added at the end of the list. List pop removes and returns the last element of the list. So planet.pop will return the last element. In this case, last element is Pluto. So when you run the pop method, Pluto will be returned on the user screen. If we check again the planet list, Pluto is removed from the list. So pop method removes the element and returns it. Searching inside a list, here we will use list.index method to get the index of the element present inside the list. So planet has index method. We are passing an argument earth. It will check inside the list whether earth is available or not. If it is available, then it will return the index of earth. Click on the cell and run the cell. Planet contains an element earth at index position 2. planet.index Pluto will return an error because Pluto was not present inside the list. If you want to check whether the element is present inside the list or not, you can use in operator. We are checking whether Earth is present in list planet or not. So we will run Earth in planets. This will return either true or false. If it is present, it will return a true. If it is not present, it is return false. We are checking whether is the given string a planet or not. So string name in planet, click on the cell and run the cell. Obviously the string is not present in the planet, therefore it returns false. When you run a help function on the list, it will display the information regarding list, that it is an object of a list and it has under methods. It has method append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse and sort. Moving to the next part. From list we are moving to the next data structure, which is tuples. Tuples are most exactly same as list. They differ in just two ways. The syntax for creating a tuple is, instead of using square bracket, we use parentheses. So in the cell we are creating a tuple containing integer elements 1 to 3. Instead of using a square bracket, we use opening and closing parentheses for creating a tuple. Second difference is tuples are immutable. We cannot change the element of tuple. When you assign multiple values to a variable, then this will create a tuple. Click on the cell and run the cell. You are assigning 1, 2, 3 to variable t, then it will be stored as a tuple and displayed on the user screen. When t was printed, inside opening and closing parentheses, you have element 1, 2, 3. Second, they cannot be modified, that is, they are immutable. If t at index 0 we are assigning value 100, it will return an error. Click on the cell and run the cell. See, type error, tuple object does not support item assignment. Tuples are often used for functions that have multiple return values. For example, as integer ratio method, float object returns a numerator and denominator in format of a tuple. So x contains 0.125. When you convert this fractional x as an integer ratio, then it will return a tuple containing the numerator and denominator. Click on the cell and run the cell. Numerator is 1 and denominator is 8, which will result in the value of x, which is 0.125. You can also receive the value in multiple variables and then print them. So we are converting x into as integer by calling as integer ratio into numerator and denominator tuple. The tuple values are collected in numerator and denominator. First element is stored in numerator, second element is stored in denominator. Then we are printing numerator divided by denominator on the user screen. It resulted in the same value 0.125. Finally, for swapping two variables in Python, this can be done in a single statement. If a contains 1, b contains 0, and you want to swap the value of a and b, this can be done in a single statement. A comma b is equal to b comma a. B value will be stored in a and a value will be stored in b. Click on the cell and run the cell. When you print the value of a and b, a was printed as 0 and b was printed as 1. That's it regarding list and tuples.